the Joy News channel, live from the Accra International Conference Center on the sidelines of the UN Peacekeeping Ministerial Meeting. I have the rare opportunity to interact with the U.S. representative to the UN, Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Joy News channel. We're indeed grateful.
Good, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here with you.
Ghana treated you so far? So far?
So far, so good. Ghana's hospitality has been amazing. Ghana's preparation for this event has been extraordinary. The attendance has been huge. So it's been a great experience, and having Ghana be the host of the Peacekeeping Summit, I think is a real coup for Ghana.
Well, that said, I would like us to take a look at Ghana's security situation. Mm-hmm. It's a crucial time, especially when we are going into an election year. What would be your own assessment of the security situation in Ghana, and taking into consideration what we ought to put in place ahead of the election?
Look, as we look at the region, as we look at the neighborhood that Ghana is in, Ghana is relatively stable. And as I said yesterday, Ghana is a country that delivers peace. You have been an active participant in peacekeeping. I visited a training center yesterday for training police who are going out to the field. Ghana has been a very successful member of the Security Council for the past 2 years, and really worked hard on issues of peace and security across the region, but also around the world. So Ghana, I think, is in good stead as we move forward in the coming year.
Well, but looking at the fact that Ghana sits in the middle of a recent spate of coup waves around us, amongst others, our contribution and what we can do to also fortify ourselves against such happenings around us.
Well, certainly Ghana is aware of that, and I think as Ghana looks at its own security situation, it is working to partner with other countries in the region through ECOWAS. It is partnering with us and other donors to support their efforts to improve security here in Ghana, but also to take issues of security, peace and security to other places in the world.
But our contribution, and some would say that we are not really immune to such happenings. What are we doing right? What do we have to do better going forward to ensure that we sustain that immunity?
You know, Ghana is a strong democracy. You have had a long history of transfer of power from one elected government to the next, changing from one party to another party. Your institutions are extraordinarily strong. That does not make Ghana immune from insecurity. So what that means is Ghana has to pay attention to its security just like other countries in the region. But they are partnering with us, they're partnering with others to ensure stability here.
Okay, well, speaking of Ghana, we'll get into our neighbors though, but the issue about the laws, the right laws, human rights issues coming up has been topical over the period. From where you sit, in order to prevent abuses in terms of formulation of our laws amongst others, what would you say would be the caution to Ghana in that regard? You
know, countries have to respect human rights. Ghana has a history of respecting human rights, and this is something that we hope will continue in Ghana. Ghana has just been elected to the Human Rights Council. Being on the Human Rights Council has certain responsibilities, and we hope that as a member of the Human Rights Council, Ghana will show its strong respect for human rights, for inclusion, and ensuring that all of Ghana's citizens benefit from Ghana's constitution.
In that regard, so far you would say we're on the right path, we're on course when it comes to that?
I think you're on the right path. None of us are perfect by any means. Even my own country, we're not perfect. But not being perfect does not mean you can't continue a process of making your country better, your democracy stronger, your constitution more representative, and your country more inclusive.
African countries and our preparedness in responding to issues about terrorism, for instance, cybersecurity threats, other issues about drugs, amongst others. Where are we falling short when it comes to dealing with these particular issues, you would say?
I think countries have to invest more in their people. They have to invest more in education. They have to invest more in job creation and ensuring that rights are protected for their citizens. The first step toward autocracy is stepping on the rights of citizens. And so I think we have to continue to press that message that it is important. Human rights is an important element of stability.
Well, the issue about partnership with the U.S. has been long-standing. What roles you envision that the U.S. will be playing in terms of fostering these partnerships further in helping, especially in the area of security?
Well, one of the themes of the summit these past 2 days is partnerships. And we are partnering with Ghana as well as other countries to build capacity, to provide equipment and support to countries that are addressing issues of terrorism, to ensure that they have the ability to respond should anything happen.
Should Ghana be worried when it comes to the issue about terrorism, you'd say?
Every one of us should be worried about terrorism. When I look back on the United States and the 9/11 attack, and I'm living in New York now, so I visited the memorial there. Almost every country was represented in the list of people who were killed. So we all have to continue to worry about terrorism, but we have to do more than worry. We have to work to prevent it.
There are some who say that with your presence in Ghana, it means that there's a lot of good news coming up in terms of partnership with Ghana and the U.S. Any such good news in the offing very soon, you would say?
Look, the vice president was here, so my presence is minor compared to having the vice president be in Ghana. What that has signified is that we have strong respect for Ghana. We want to partner with Ghana. We're engaging with Ghana to address a large number of issues. We have a USAID program here that is one of the largest on the continent of Africa. So the partnership is strong and growing.
Well, U.S. has done a lot for Ghana, and the question now is, what can Ghana do for the U.S. with you here? What exactly would be your expectations in terms of what Ghana can also do for the U.S.?
Ghana can stay on course as a democracy. Ghana can stay on course as a strong partner. I am really extraordinarily pleased to have partnered with Ghana for the past 2 years on the Security Council. And I know that the United States looks forward to partnering with Ghana on the Human Rights Council. So that partnership is it's mutual. It's not just us giving to Ghana, but it is also Ghana giving to us. You know that American tourism is huge here in Ghana, particularly among African Americans, but also across the board. Ghana has welcomed American tourists. It's welcomed the diaspora community. Large numbers of Americans have moved to Ghana and are living in Ghana, and Ghana's hospitality is also part of that partnership.
And what they say, long should that partnership live. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to interact with you. We're indeed grateful.
Thank you very much.
That's Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield. We're grateful for your time. And we're hoping that you'll be back in Ghana soon, so we give you some more treats in terms of our hospitality.
This is my third trip to Ghana since I started this job, and I certainly look forward to returning.
It's beyond the return in December, so I'm sure you have a good time in Ghana. Thank you so much. Thank you. Live from the Accra International Conference Center, this is the Joy News channel, and we have a rare opportunity to interact with the Under-Secretary General in charge of peacekeeping, Jean Lura. He's our guest. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Joy News channel.
Very good to be with you.
How has Ghana been for you so far, you'd say?
So far, so good. We've had an excellent welcome and a wonderful organization. So very, very pleased to be here.
Okay. Well, we'll get straight into action. I would want to find out from where you sit, how do you think Ghana has fared in terms of our peacekeeping operations over the period, in terms of what we've contributed amongst others, you'd say?
Ghana is one of the most important supporter. It's a very important troop and police contributing country to peacekeeping. We have approximately 2,700 men and women from Ghana serving in most of the peacekeeping operation that we have, and their service is outstanding, and therefore it's very fitting that we're having the first ministerial level meeting on peacekeeping in Africa, in Ghana.
Well, let's talk about collaborations going forward, how the UN is hoping to collaborate more with the local communities, amongst others. Where are we with that, and where would you want to be going forward?
I think it's very important to make sure that we engage, and our peacekeepers, the civilian, the military and the police engage very closely with the local communities for one very simple reason. First of all, in crisis settings, they are by definition the most affected component. The men and women and children from the local communities, they're the ones who bear the brunt of the crisis. But in addition to that, you cannot build sustainable peace without engaging with the local community. That's why our peacekeepers are making tremendous efforts to make sure that the communities are on board and they're supportive and understanding of all the efforts that our peacekeepers are making.
It brings me to the issue about hurdles and challenges that the UN faces as we speak. From where you sit, what would it be and what we are hoping to do differently, you'd say?
I think of course, before talking about the challenges, it's very important to talk about the achievements of our peacekeepers, because if it weren't for them, then ceasefires wouldn't be monitored, the resumption of hostilities would not be prevented, and we should not forget that every single day our peacekeepers, including the peacekeepers from Ghana, are protecting the lives of hundreds of millions of civilians. But we have challenges. The first one is a political challenge, because we have an international community that is much more divided than it was 10 or 20 years ago. But we're also facing challenges because of the fact that conflicts have changed and the threats are becoming even more daunting to our peacekeepers. Armed groups, new technologies, fake news and disinformation. We need to adapt to all these threats.
Okay, it takes me to the issue about gender inclusivity, because most of the time I am female, so I'm excited to talk about that. Let's talk about the initiatives to enhance more gender inclusivity when it comes to UN peacekeeping.
I think the first thing that needs to be said is Ghana is very much a pioneer in terms of having more women in peacekeeping, including more women at senior ranks in the military and the police. That is very important. And in my interaction with the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I encourage Ghana to continue this effort and also to come up with more female candidates for senior position. When we have more women in peacekeeping, we have a more effective peacekeeping. That's the motto, really. But the role of peacekeeping is not only to increase the number of women in the military, the police, the civilian. It is also to do more to empower women in the countries where peacekeeping operations are deployed, to make sure that women will have a voice in political efforts and peace efforts.
Well, the issue about sexual exploitation, and I must add that there's a woman behind you, so it actually talks about the issue about gender inclusivity. But let's talk about the issue about sexual abuses and exploitation when it comes to UN peacekeeping. I'm sure there are some measures in place to curb that, amongst others. You'd like to touch a bit more on that?
Indeed. I mean, what needs to be said is sexual exploitation, abuse by peacekeepers is intolerable. It's only a very small minority, and by doing these unspeakable things, then they cast a stain, they they undermine the work of the great majority of our peacekeepers. So we've taken a number of measures, and I believe that we're more equipped to prevent and react to cases of sexual exploitation and abuse. We've been taking very robust measures when we are faced with such cases, including repatriating entire contingents and taking other measures so that victim can be better supported. That is very important.
I know how pressed you are, but the issue lastly about partnerships with local communities, the issue about these stakeholders and the organizations, how they complement the work of the UN peacekeeping, you'd say?
Yeah, peacekeeping is about partnership. Peacekeeping is there to support progress towards peace, towards sustainable and durable political solution, but we need partners to do that because the peacekeepers cannot do everything by themselves. First of all, we need to partner with member states, and we need stronger political support from them to political efforts. But we work also with humanitarian agencies, with NGOs, with, of course, the civil society, with regional, sub-regional organizations such as the African Union and ECOWAS. And it's only with the strong partnership that we can succeed. The partnership is absolutely key to the success of peacekeeping.
And finally, maybe the success stories. Of course, we can't talk to you without talking about the success stories of your mission, for instance. What would you say will be the success stories, and going forward, certain programs that we're hoping to initiate?
Well, I think the list is very long, first of all, of success stories of countries that have been, that have returned to stability, political stability, with the help of peacekeeping. It ranges from Liberia, Sierra Leone, Côte d'Ivoire, Angola, Mozambique, Namibia, and other countries in other continents, Timor-Leste, Cambodia, and I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Today it's more difficult to achieve this, this what I call the ultimate success, because our member states are more divided and we have less support for political efforts. But we should not forget the success that are achieved every single day. Again, preserving ceasefire, protecting the lives of hundreds of millions of hundreds of thousands of civilians, probably millions of them. That is very important, and these are achievements that should absolutely be highlighted.
We're grateful indeed for your time. We thank you so much for making time to be with us on the Joy News channel. I don't know if you've tried any Ghanaian food so far.
I did, absolutely.
Which one did you try?
Even on the ground, actually. I remember this very spicy but delicious soup that I was served in Abie,
okay.
Actually, where I visited your contingent there.
Okay.
So indeed, I mean, that's another thing.
We call it pepper soup, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jean-Pierre Lacroix. Thank you for joining us here on the Joy News channel. Another time, we'll get to have that rare opportunity again. That's it for this special edition. We're grateful. I am MF Apau.